keep your dream alive because it might come true someday.
So let's bring this change by becoming the change, and let's speak and let's walk together.
The response goes from, oh, you're just a teacher, to teachers are game changers.
Thank you for this. It's really an honor, and it really is incredibly heavy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. I.M. Payne.
Thank you all for coming. I'm very, very moved. This is an event I shall always remember.
This game changer will accept her award in her own very special way.
Everyone deserves the right to have to prevail. Let me end it this way. No one is for sale.
I hope to represent people of all colors, creeds, and classes, not just in the arts, but in any occupation which feels difficult to get a foothold in.
I would like to say that any leader of any global community hopes and prays for one thing: peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tom Nagorski, Executive Vice President, Asia Society.
Good evening, everyone. If I can ask the folks in the back to take their seats, we want to get started. We welcome you to the 5th Annual Asia Game Changer Awards. I'm Tom Nagorski, your occasional MC for tonight and the Executive Vice President of the Asia Society. We thank you all for being with us for what is really a celebration. We are in the company of greatness tonight. We are certainly in the company of some great Asia Game Changers. To get us started, please welcome the President and the CEO of the Asia Society, also known as my boss, Josette Sheeran.
Well, good evening, everyone. Ooh, good evening. This is my favorite night of the year. And our theme for tonight and every year of our Game Changers is Dare to be Inspired. And I think for all of us, as we read the headlines every day, we often can forget the people who are transforming our world for the good, sometimes unsung heroes, sometimes unseen heroes. You're going to meet an incredible array of them tonight. Tonight, we're going to meet musicians and miracle workers, healers and peacemakers, people who are fighting to save the planet, and people transforming the way the world does business for good. And I want to thank Stephen Bird from Citi, because they were our partners from the beginning on this vision to create this 5 years ago. Yes. Stephen has been a favorite at Asia Society. I say he's the only person in the world who can recite ancient Chinese poetry in Mandarin with a Scottish brogue. But he also does a lot more for Citi, but that's one of our favorite things. Tonight, we're especially proud that we're going to celebrate our future, because tonight you're going to see some extraordinary girls and women who are trailblazing a new future for the world and are the very definition of game changers. This event's grown from really an idea just 5 years ago when I first came to Asia Society. And I think many of us were frustrated that even though Asia today is half the world's economy, and even though it's half the world's population, and even though it's half the world's patents, it's actually less than 10% of the Nobel Prize winners, less than 10% of the MacArthur Genius Awards. Asia hasn't been fully seen for its transformative, innovative, amazing contribution to the world. And our idea was to find those people that needed to be seen by the world who are changing the way good is done in the world and putting forward an innovative approach that the world needed to be seen, that the world needed to see. I will say this idea is at the very heart of the founding principle of Asia Society when John D. Rockefeller created us 63 years ago, with the idea that if we wanted to build a peaceful future, we had to immediately get to the business of building understanding between Asia, the East and the West, between the United States and Asia, and that we needed to do that through arts and culture and diplomacy and business and policy and education. It couldn't be one-dimensional. And so his trailblazing work in founding this, we're so happy to have David Rockefeller, Charles Rockefeller, and Susan with us tonight, really representing the amazing legacy that has created this institution. The Game Changers has really developed into a showcase. We feel that the innovations have been picked up. There's many stories. Some of you may remember our Eagle Huntress from last year, the 15-year-old in Mongolia, the first woman to compete. She beat everyone in the country, and she's now at Harvard. I think her flight here was the first time she was ever on an airplane. As you know, we've honored Jack Ma before his IPO. He actually wasn't quite as famous yet. Malala, I.M. Pei, Shigeru Ban, the Aga Khan last year, and many who have not yet been known by the world. And tonight, we're so pleased to have one of, to me, the most amazing women in the world as our Game Changer of the Year, Indra Nooyi. From my time doing humanitarian work and around the world, I've seen her on the front lines helping to solve the problem of child stunting, malnutrition. I've seen her commitment to being a transformational agent for change. She's one of the most passionate and visionary people I have met, and she's been unemployed for a week now. And I think she's already getting a little bored, but so let's collect ideas because she has a lot of ability to help change our world. But tonight we'll hear from her, we'll hear her story. And when I asked her who she wanted to present the award, she immediately named one person, and he's here tonight. And amazingly, when we approached this very, very busy person, we very quickly got back, I want to do this for Indra. So it's going to be a magical night tonight, and we shall now go to the video to understand better why Indra's our Game Changer of the Year. Thank you.
Indra, I'm delighted to congratulate you on your Game Changer of the Year award. I can't think of a more appropriate honor because you truly embody what it means to change the game. In your 12 years at PepsiCo, you took an already iconic company and ushered it into a new era of health, sustainability, and employee empowerment.
Indra, what a stunning reign at Pepsi. What a brilliant track record. What I've always admired about you is that through all your remarkable business success, you've shown stature and style, integrity and humanity.
From the beginning, she was a rebellious young girl with a drive to succeed. Born in Madras, in a time and place when it was considered inappropriate for girls and young women to aim high, Indra Nooyi had other ideas. As a young girl, she joined a cricket team. She played in a rock band. She was a standout in school and determined to keep her education going.
So the letter comes that I've gotten into the Yale School of Management. I go to my parents and say, can I go? And they go, absolutely not. My mom says, I'm going to get you married off.
But she went. She excelled in business school and business. And in 1994, Indra Nooyi joined PepsiCo. Just 12 years later,
the CEO, then Steve Reinemund, who said the board is going to, likelihood vote you in as CEO. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be CEO, and that's a pretty big shock.
She was one of the first women of color to lead a Fortune 500 company.
A woman in an iconic US-based company that's gone global, that has always been run by white males. And you've got the beginnings of a juicy story.
As CEO, Nui oversaw a bold new strategy, performance with purpose, a movement to create healthier products, protect the planet, and empower people and communities, especially women and girls, around the world. Some investors were skeptical, but the strategy paid off.
I've always focused on doing a damn good job and just hoping the rest of it takes care of itself.
Her company registered 80% growth. While moving to more health-conscious products, the company was also greener, and it was helping women around the world.
Gender diversity has to be embraced as the only way for a company to be successful. I don't think we have a choice.
PepsiCo pledged to achieve gender parity in management by 2025 and committed $100 million to support education and workforce training for girls and young women. From the beginning, a game changer with a game-changing strategy for success, showing the world that higher profits and higher purpose can go together.
We've got to allow people to be bold, write the rules any way they want, and that's what they're doing in our company.
Whether in busting a dance move or simply enjoying the company of others. Indra, congratulations. You deserve this honor more than anyone I know. Keep dancing.
Good luck in your next wonderful act. I know you and Raj are ready to be, as you said, Asian grandparents on steroids. Bravo, Indra. We love you.
And ladies and gentlemen, to present the award to this extraordinary leader, the 42nd President of the United States, Bill Clinton.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tom.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Josette. And thank you for taking on the Asia Society. I'd like to begin, if I might, just by thanking all of you for being here. At a time when all over the world, nations and within nations, ethnic, racial, and religious groups seem to be withdrawing from each other, I still bet on you. And the idea that our differences make life more interesting, but our common humanity matters more, that we have a shared future and we have to build it. And I'm very grateful for the example of the Asia Society. And in some form or fashion, the United States, whether we know it or not, needs a trans-Pacific partnership with the people of Asia to build a future. I'm very grateful to be here on behalf of Indra Nooyi. She is everything you saw in the film, but she has also been a wonderful friend to Hillary and me. And she is our neighbor. The Pepsi headquarters is about 10 minutes from our home. And if you've never been there, she probably still has enough pull, even a week out of the job, to get you a tour through the Sculptor Garden, which is the most impressive private sculptor garden, I believe, in the world, and a big part of their legacy. One day I was there showing it to my brother, and I looked like not very good. I was in old clothes, and I looked like I should have been there to clean the place or paint the roof or something. And she came out and said hello and took me in and let my brother buy all the Pepsi stuff in the store. And I just kept thinking, yes, she's a female president of a Fortune 500 company. Yes, she's the first Asian woman to do something like this. Yes, all this stuff. But she's a real, live human being. and a good human being and a good person. I love listening to her stories about trying to reconcile family and work and having a mother that still thought she ought to be a nice Indian girl, even though she was a very big deal in the business world, in America, and around the world. But I want to say one thing that was not in the film. After I had my heart surgery 14 years ago, and the American Heart Association asked me to do something for them, I said, okay, but I don't want to make public service ads. I mean, I'll do that if you want, but what I really want us to do is something that might actually save somebody's life. And children in the United States at that time were getting up to, who were obese, were getting up to 45% of their calories every day from heavily sugared soft drinks. So I went to Indra and to the other big Coca-Cola, Cadbury, Schweppes, and I said, look, I know you don't want to kill these kids. Let's figure out a way to make money in a different way. And it wasn't so many years ago that people would have looked at me like I was crazy. But you saw from the way she's diversified the products being sold by Pepsi-Cola, they imagined that it would be a good thing if all these kids that were otherwise going to be obese, sugared up, and have shortened lives turned out to be healthy, long-lived, and customers for decades. And so they agreed. With no law, no soda tax, no nothing. They agreed to get rid of full sugared soft drinks, to reduce the size of even their fruit drinks that had significant amounts of sugar, and in total to reduce by 90%, the total number of calories consumed by children in schools in America through soft drinks. And now, wait. And here's the other reason you should be giving her this. You can only make change if you make it for other people. Breaking a glass ceiling is a great deal, but that's what you achieve. You have to change things for other people. 2 completely independent studies have now documented that they met the 90% target. And that's an astonishing thing. With no regulation, no taxes, no nothing. It wouldn't have happened if it hadn't been for her. And they are now trying to reduce the overall caloric consumption of the entire American populace by 20% within the next few years. So yes, she's my friend, and I'd be here under any circumstances. But she's the real deal. And given the way the world often seems to be going to hell in a handbasket, I suspect your 1-week retirement will be more short-lived than you wish. Ladies and gentlemen, Indra Nooyi.
Thank you, Mr. President. As if this award wasn't enough of an honor, your presence here tonight makes it that much more special. Thank you so much for your kind words, your big heart, and everything you've done on behalf of our country here and the people of Asia. Thank you. What an amazing evening it is so far. Thank you, Tom, Josette, and everyone at the Asia Society for this award and organizing this dinner every year. And thank you all for coming out here to celebrate this remarkable, indispensable organization. I am deeply honored to be your 2018 Game Changer of the Year. More than anything else, I'm humbled to be included with such an extraordinary group, the Fukushima first responders, the white helmets of Syria, the cave divers who rescued those little children in Thailand. These are the real superheroes. So please indulge me for a moment and give all the other game changers a real round of applause. To be honest, I feel a bit uncomfortable, somewhat like an imposter, being mentioned in the same breath as some of this evening's honorees. I have not saved anyone's life. I'm not a world-class surgeon. I'm not a champion long-distance runner. For 12 years, I did the same thing as many of you. I ran a company, PepsiCo. I tried to run it with courage and conviction. I tried to run it with humanity and heart, with an eye towards purpose as well as profit. Because I believed that business had to be more than creating value for shareholders. It had to be about creating value for society as a whole. I firmly believe that companies can be a positive force for change in the world. And that's why I ran the company that champions women, that champions sustainability, that champions health and wellness. A company that lifts others up and builds bridges between people and cultures. A company that does well by being good. Those are the values that have driven me throughout my career, from my first job in India to the last week when I stepped down as CEO of PepsiCo. And they also happen to be the values that are central to the Asia Society. In the words of your founder, John D. Rockefeller III, this organization is about building, and I quote, mutual understanding and respect based not on mere tolerances of our differences, but on our awareness that the world is richer for those differences, and we as individuals are richer in our humanity. For more than 6 decades, this organization has been building those ties of mutual understanding and respect and enriching our humanity, whether it's through the Asia Society Policy Institute, the Arts and Museum Network, the Center for Global Education, the Asia 21 Young Leaders Program, or these Game Changer Awards, recognizing people who've had a transformative impact in Asia. To paraphrase a line attributed to the Buddha, you are the single candle that lights 1,000 candles. You are the single candle that lights 1,000 candles, igniting curiosity and passion for Asian culture in countless people. And looking out at everyone here tonight, knowing that there are so many of us who share the values of this amazing organization, I have no doubt that your candle will continue to light the world, and the best days for Asia Society and all of us who love and appreciate Asian cultures lie ahead. Thank you very much for being here tonight. And Mr. President, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations to Indra Nooyi. And I must say, I'm going to throw out what I was going to say. Thank you, Indra Nooyi, also for those incredibly kind words about our organization. You can applaud. Thank you, President Clinton. Incredibly gracious of you to be with us tonight. We thank you. As Indra said, and Josette before her, we have a great many other remarkable people in the room tonight who we're also here to honor. And so without further ado, we go next to a pair of awards that go together in a kind of strange way, but you'll understand, I think, in a moment. They involve two very different crises, two very different national traumas, and the people who responded in extraordinary ways to both of them. So to present the next 2018 Asia Game Changer Awards, please welcome founding father of our brand new Asia Society Center in Tokyo, James Kondo, together with the chair of the Asia Society Global Council on Asian Arts and Culture, Dr. Agnes Xu Tang.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. 各位女士、各位先生，大家晚上好。Thank you all for being here this evening to help us celebrate and honor courage in many forms and heroes who made miracles happen.
This year, as Tom said, Asia Society is opening its Japan Center. Some people say it's 20 years overdue, but we're about to open a center in 3 weeks. So that is a huge celebration for all of us. Thank you. And so we wanted to recognize this year the courage and heroism of a group of remarkable people from Japan who responded to the worst disaster the nation has known in its history. And these were examples of courage and heroism, but also of incredible humility.
This summer, a different type of crisis struck northern Thailand. A soccer team of 12 boys with their young coach became trapped inside a cave after a heavy monsoon rain partially flooded the cave. They were running out of food, water, air, and time after 10 days, until 2 volunteer British divers finally located them. These are 2 very different crises in 2 very different countries. But these extraordinary individuals, in these dire circumstances, kept their cool and persevered and endeavored with tremendous bravery. Let us take a look.
March 11th, 2011, a day no one in Japan will ever forget. A cascade of tragedy. First, the earthquake. Then, the tsunami. Battering the northeast coast, more than 15,000 dead, entire communities washed away. Then, the third nightmare. The nuclear plant at Fukushima flooded, causing it to explode.
There's a danger of a runaway reactor.
A nuclear disaster. Residents evacuated within a 30-kilometer danger zone. But while these people left, these people went in. Plant workers, firefighters, first responders. They were the heroes of Fukushima, volunteering for what was considered a suicide mission.
Almost 200 emergency workers racing to prevent nuclear catastrophe.
Helping to stop the explosions, limit the radiation, and search for survivors. Their almost unfathomable bravery and sacrifice helped keep a terrible disaster from becoming even worse. And this year, in a different part of the world, another group of rescuers captured the world with their bravery in the face of seemingly impossible odds. 12 young boys, members of the Wild Boars soccer team, together with their coach, had ventured deep into the caves known as Tham Luang, trapping the boys almost 2.5 miles from where they had gone in.
12 young Thai soccer players and their coach missing now since Saturday.
It took 10 days to find the boys, and somehow all of them were alive. But still, trapped.
If they have a window at all to bring them out safely, it is now.
As the world watched, an international team of 150 cave experts, rescuers, and Thai military personnel began a race against time and a fight against falling oxygen levels and rising water. their coach giving the boys part of his limited food rations to help them survive. They devised an ambitious plan, training the boys, many couldn't even swim, to navigate each narrow, dangerous turn through the miles of flooded passageways, which had already taken the life of one Thai Navy diver. One of the boys, 14-year-old Adul, could speak some English, which became crucial in communicating with British divers. At last, after 18 days, all 12 boys and their coach were rescued. Mission possible and mission accomplished.
So as we said, in Japan, there has been profound measure of humility when it comes to taking credit for this heroism in Fukushima. The people who responded in Fukushima have said from the very beginning that it is for the nation, not for themselves, to take credit for this award. So here, to accept this Asia Game Changer Award on behalf of all the people of Japan, please welcome Japan's Consul General here in New York City, Ambassador Reiichiro Takahashi.
Thank you. Tonight, I humbly receive this award from Asia Society for my countrymen and women who saved lives in Fukushima. After the 2011 earthquake, tsunami, and subsequent nuclear accident, our first responders answered the call of duty with tremendous bravery and selflessness, spending sometimes weeks to rescue them in danger and try to contain the damage. They were representative of the fortitude of the people of Fukushima. It is the same fortitude that drives our first responders to work tirelessly to address the challenges of those who are still struggling in Fukushima. Some remain in temporary housing, while others remain evacuees, still waiting to come home. To best honor them, the self-defense forces, the Fukushima police and fire departments, and others will simply continue to their jobs. In this connection, I also want you to know the people of Japan will never forget the support and friendship extended by our American friends. They will always remember the brave operations conducted by US military forces in the name of Operation Tomodachi. They will always remember such a number of volunteers, including those families who lost their loved ones in 9/11, came all the way to Fukushima, reaching out their hands, trying to heal the wounds of those who suffered. We always will cherish this memory in the strength of our bilateral relations. Thank you very much. I offer my appreciation to President Joseph Seeland and the Asia Society for recognizing the men and women who have made a lasting impact on their countries and the world as game changers each year. This important ceremony offers us the chance to pay deserving tribute, to reflect deeply and to be inspired. The work in the prefecture may indeed take decades, but the progress we have made so far is in large part due to the sacrifices of our first responders. The example they have set will continue to live on as part of the spirit of Fukushima. Thank you very much.
Before I introduce our next honorees, Josette had asked me to read you an email I sent to her on July 8th at 1 p.m. Josette, I don't know if you've been following the Thai rescue mission, but the head guy just announced that they are going in before the next rainfall. They're running out of time. What these Navy SEALs and volunteer divers are doing is beyond courageous. I don't know if they will all come out alive, but I'm keeping vigil because the world has come together in this unifying moment. Whatever happens, we must honor them. I hope to believe, we have to believe that they will come out alive. It is my honor to introduce you tonight the head guy that I referred to in my email, the governor of Chiang Rai Province, Narongsak Osatanakorn, the man who led the rescue effort as governor of the province. Akapol Changtawang, the young soccer coach who kept the boys alive with hope. And Adul Samon, that 14-year-old boy who captured our hearts at hello when the two British divers finally found them. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming them.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is our pleasure to be here tonight. First of all, thank you, Asia Society, for this honorable award tonight. On behalf of the rescue team, I would like to express my gratitude to the contribution of every single person involved in this mission. Thank you all supports, assistance from all the government organizations, volunteers, media, and specialists from all over the world who came to work together with faith and trust. And above all, we, the rescue team, would like to express our gratitude and appreciation to His Majesty King Maha Vajiralongkorn and his royal family for continuous support and benevolence. We have to admit that this incident was a very difficult mission with a very limited time. We worked under pressure against the oxygen level, the water level, while time is approaching, but which one might say that rescue white ball soccer team is our first priority. Together with every party cooperation, we finally have overcome the problems and accomplished this mission to be possible. I hope it's not wrong to say that this mission is of no race, no nationality, but with only united humanity as a goal. With over 10,000 people involved, even if one function is missing, we would not have done it. I wish the entire incident was a learning experience and inspire everyone to start living for others. With this small change, this could be another game changer for the world. Thank you, everyone.
Here to present our next award, please welcome Vice Chair of the Asia Society Global Board, Lulu Wang, and the President of the Asia Society Policy Institute, former Prime Minister of Australia, Kevin Rudd.
Thank you, Tom. It's very exciting to be here tonight and to see how this event has grown and grown year after year. And yet, we never seem to fail to find new game changers who truly are exciting and who inspire us. And tonight, we will see those who have saved lives, but the honoree that we will be recognizing now will be someone who has dedicated his life, his work, his time, and his money to saving the planet. His story is very much that of China and his transformative years. His life is one with stunning business success, but after a while, in recent decades, he began to turn toward a profound commitment to changing the environment, not only for China, but for the world beyond.
Good evening, everybody. It's great to be back at this extraordinary event, Asian Game Changers. This has become the Olympics of outstanding achievement in Asia. No one else across this vast continent, from the sands of Saudi Arabia to the distant beaches of eastern Japan, which is our geographical remit, does this stuff. And it's a good thing to encourage achievement. So Josette, wherever you are, this was your idea. Thank you, Josette Sheeran, our president. As Lulu just said, we're honouring tonight an extraordinary man. He comes from the southern part of China. 他是深圳来的，对不对? And I recently had the opportunity to spend some time with him again when we met in the great city of America's West Coast, San Francisco, talking about climate change. Wang Shi is an extraordinary individual. He's an entrepreneur from southern China, from Shenzhen, which is now China's IT capital. Made a bundle in the real estate business, good on him. Then got inspired to start climbing mountains. And he was so inspired, he decided to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. 爬山不就是简单的山是 Kilimanjaro 那个大山? So he decided to climb this huge mountain. My wife, Therese, who's not here with us this evening, she's climbed Kilimanjaro. When I was Prime Minister, I said I should come with her. She said to me, darling, it's too rough for the likes of you. And she was right. This guy, Wang Shi, did exactly that. He climbed, and he heard that there was snows in 4 seasons of the year as you got to the peak. When he got to the peak, he found there was no snow at all. And suddenly, the reality of climate change hit him, and he realized that climate was a problem for our common humanity and all of Asia. And he resolved to do something about it. 他对于气候变化有深刻的感觉，做出一个决定，把这个问题解决好。So everybody tonight, take a look at the video before we introduce Wang Shi.
He has been a game changer in business and a game-changing adventurer who ran the Boston Marathon, trekked to the North and South Poles, and climbed the world's 7 highest mountains, including Everest, twice.
您最喜欢的职业是什么？
呀，很多啊。
Wang Shi, the businessman, built what would become China's largest residential real estate company. But Wang's greatest achievements involve his commitment to environmental causes in China and beyond.
必须要节省木材，必须要节省水源，必须要节省电力。
Every one of his buildings must meet the highest green standards. This year, the company has slashed CO2 emissions by more than 5 million tons. Today, half the green buildings in China were built by Wang Shi's company.
It is my honor and pleasure to join the discussions. Going green for certain.
That commitment to go green reaches far beyond his company. On his summits to Everest, he led efforts to clear trash left by other climbers. On an expedition to Antarctica, he brought attention to the effects of climate change on polar ice caps. He has served as UN Goodwill Ambassador for the Environment and as China's only board member of the World Wildlife Foundation. Today, this game-changing builder is building a case for action to save the planet. I must take responsibility for the future, he says. Otherwise, my success isn't worth anything.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome from Shenzhen, China, Mr. Wang Shi.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and my friends. Mentioned I climbed the mountain, but for me, I think speaking in English, that more higher than Mount Everest. It is my great pleasure to join this special gala with so many good friends. This is the 5th year of the Asia Game Changer Award. The previous Chinese awardees, including Jack Ma, M. Pei, Zhang Yimou, are respectful and inspiring leaders to me. The stories of other awardees tonight showed incredible heroism, fighting for lives and equality with courage and determination. It is a big honor for me to join them in receiving this award tonight. For the past 20 years, outdoor adventures have kept inspiring me about our responsibility for the environment. The first inspiring moment was when I reached the summit of the Kilimanjaro in 2002. I saw no sign of snow at the peak, in contrast to what Hemingway described in the book of Snows of Kilimanjaro. The sight of these appearing snow mountains remind me of the urgent environmental reality. Another moment was when I climbed the Mount Everest for the second time in 2010. I saw some amazing photos of glaciers and snow mountains displayed at the base camp. There's an exhibition that surprised me at the base camp of Mount Everest in Nepal. These photos were shot by David Brashears. I climbed the Mount Everest twice, and each time I only stayed in the mountains for 2 months max. But David stayed with the Mount Everest for much more time. That's 20 years. He shot powerful photos and films to raise awareness about climate change. To me, David is a role model that reminds me of my duty for the planet and motivates me to carry on with my duties in the future. Because the David I ever met as a society. I always have many people to thank at occasions like this, but my time is limited, so I will just mention a few in present here. First, again, I would like to thank Asia Society for giving me that incredible honor. And also my thanks to some amazing friends, Susan and David Rockefeller, and my colleagues of Vanke in New York. My company's name, that Vanke. For always keeping the good company with the support and the friendship. I want to thank my wife, Mimi, for coming all the way to New York with me. And I will tell you that New York always makes us feel home. With no doubt, tonight will be one of the highlights to keep in our good memories about this amazing city. Thank you.
All right, I'm just up here now to say it's time for a break. And one really important little program, logistical matter, you should have noticed, and if you didn't before, please notice now, in your programs, at your tables, there is this mysterious sheet of lyrics inside your programs. One of our game changers who you will meet in the next round is a musical phenomenon from the Middle East. And it'll all make sense later. Just make sure you know where that piece of paper is, because you're going to need it before you go home. So in a moment, we'll be back with more awards, with ABC News' Bob Woodruff, with Ambassador Caroline Kennedy. Enjoy your dinner. Back in a little bit. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the dole, that was Sonny Jane, founder, composer, and dole player for the band Red Baraat. And now, please welcome back to the stage, Tom Nagorski.
First, I have a message for our Game Changer of the Year, Indra Nooyi. There's no score. Okay, that's just between us. You know what we're talking about. Okay. Right. When we meet these wonderful people, we learn a little bit about them, and I've learned that our Game Changer of the Year is a huge fan of a certain local baseball team. Welcome back. We're about to meet a few more wonderful game changers. Before we get to that, just a quick few notes of gratitude. We're, of course, grateful to all of you for being here tonight. I want to acknowledge just a few people, first of all, from our global trustee family at the Asia Society. Our huge thanks to Lulu and Anthony Wong, to Betsy and Ed Cohen, to Oscar Tang and Dr. Agnes Shu Tang. We hugely appreciate your generosity and your support. Thank you. Someone asked me when they saw just some of the geography of this year's class of Game Changers how they get here. We have people, of course, from Nepal. We have people from inside Syria. Our thanks on that front to United Airlines, our travel sponsor, and thank you. And of course, they need a place to stay. So on that front, thank you very much to our sponsors at Lotte Hotels. Thank you so much. And I mentioned those lyrics at your table, but you may also have noticed small bags. I haven't actually had the chance to sit and look in them, but there are some nice goodies, some sweets, and some small bottles, I believe, at your tables. Those come courtesy of Remy Martin, and they will be leading the toast at the end of this evening. Our thanks to them as well for your support. But as we mentioned at the top, our sponsors from the beginning who encouraged us in this endeavor have been our friends at Citi. And so here tonight to present our next Asia Game Changer Awards, please welcome Asia Society Trustee from Citi, Stephen Bird, and Chief Risk Officer from Citi, Bradford Hu. Thanks, Stephen.
Good evening. It's a great honor to be able to kick off the second part of what is already a wonderful evening. I'd like to say it's been a distinct honor of mine to be a trustee of the Society for the last 5 years. This Society, I think, as demonstrated tonight and in all of the previous Game Changers, has found a way of building bridges, has found a way of connecting through better understanding of each other. All of our honorees tonight have really found a way of connecting, and this next honoree has found a very special way of doing that. And coming from a part of the world where there is deep religious and political division and lack of understanding, that truly is an amazing thing to be able to do through the power of song.
Thank you, Stephen. Good evening. For those of you who have been to this event in the past years, you have seen some terrific music bridge builders. I was going to say game changers. And when we heard earlier this year about this new musical phenomenon in the Middle East, we were extremely curious. And to our surprise, we were not the only ones. So please take a look at this video.
It was the last day of Ramadan, the Muslim holy month, in one of the world's most contested and divided cities. 1,000 strangers, Jews, Christians, and Muslims, met at the Tower of David in Jerusalem to sing. A poetic moment of unity, one of dozens created over the last year by the group that calls itself Kulula. The name Kululam combines the Hebrew words for everyone, voice, and world. Their idea is simple. Take an internationally recognizable song, prepare the lyrics in different languages, and teach concertgoers how to sing in turn. Their songs and their gatherings have become viral sensations, seen by millions around the world, and their concerts sell out in minutes. But the vision of Kululam reaches far beyond entertainment. That concert in Jerusalem honored an Indonesian cleric who leads the world's largest Muslim organization, an example of Kululam's mission, recognizing three great faiths, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, as equals. It's a song for hope, say its founders, hope for equality, empathy, and friendship.
So we'd like to invite to the stage that gentleman that you just saw who came up with this brilliant idea, Kululam.
Thank you all. My name is Michal Shachaf. I'm co-founder at Kululam, and these are my partners, Or Teicher and Ben Yefet. The real artists of Kululam are the participants. So on behalf of more than 100,000 participants so far, and more than 50 million viewers inspired by them, we thank you so much. We also would like to thank Asia Society and their president, Josette Chiran, the Consul General of Israel in New York, Danny Dayan, the Director of Performing Arts, Renee Schreiber, the Consul of Cultural Affairs, Mr. Moti Avichai. You have our deepest gratitude for your recognition and for your support of Kululam. We would like to thank all of our dedicated crew and dedicated families who have supported us in the past 2 years. And most importantly, thank you to each and every participant who gave their voice and joy to Kululam. Thank you all that being here tonight and giving us the opportunity to spread Kululam's message around the world, which is that musical harmony can inspire harmony in humanity. Thank you.
Please welcome Asia Society trustee Bob Niehaus and the co-chair of the Asia Society Global Board, Chen Heng-chi.
Good evening. We stay in the Middle East for now. We have seen this evening crisis and disaster takes many forms in the world, and so do the qualities of mercy, bravery, and resilience. And as someone who has been involved in diplomacy for a very long time, I know too well that at the end of the story, it may not be a happy one. As we gather here tonight, We are well into the 8th year of the war in Syria, a conflict that has so far defied the efforts of all diplomats from all over the world. We can't find a resolution.
Earlier this evening, we've seen a beautiful tribute to first responders in Thailand and in Japan. But what happens when there are almost no first responders left? What happens when there is no end to the trauma? This is the case today and on most days inside of Syria. Our next Game Changer Award goes to an organization built on the bravery of volunteers, people who are trying desperately to fill a void and to save as many lives as they possibly can. So let's take a look.
كنت أعمل قبل الثورة مدرس تربية رياضية طالب معهد طبي تصوير شعاعي.
They are an unlikely group of heroes, ordinary Syrians, who banded together to save others in one of the most dangerous places on earth. They're called the White Helmets. They started with a group of just 20 volunteers, vowing to help search and rescue when so many international relief groups were headed out. And ever since, these brave men and women have run to tragedy. Every time a bomb rains down on a Syrian neighborhood, they are the first to arrive, saving lives in areas where there are almost no public services left. They have saved families, children, babies. This baby survived, as have more than 100,000 other people rescued by the White Helmets. More than 200 of the White Helmet volunteers have lost their lives trying to save others. And today, with Syrian forces retaking most of the country, they are in grave danger. But most of the White Helmets have stayed, risking it all to give every Syrian the hope of a lifeline.
قبل الثورة كنت بشتغل مجال البناء، حالياً بإنقاذ الناس.
Wasn't that moving? I flew to New York. I flew into New York on Sunday night, and I decided to look at Netflix, The White Helmets. It's a documentary, 40 minutes of it. I highly recommend it. And I have to tell you, I started crying. I was so moved. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Vice Chair of the White Helmets, who has traveled from Syria to be with us tonight, Mr. Munir Mustafa.
مساء الخير للجميع. أود أن أشكركم على هذا التكريم. إن هذه الجائزة وكل الجوائز التي حصل عليها الخوذ البيضاء هو دليل على عظمة ما يقوم بها متطوعو الدفاع المدني في سوريا. ففي ظروف يستحيل العمل فيها بسبب القصف العنيف واستخدام كافة أنواع الأسلحة حتى المحرم منها دولياً، ومع الاستهداف المتكرر لعناصر الدفاع المدني ولمراكز الدفاع المدني الذي سبب لنا خسارة أكثر من 252 متطوع وإصابة أكثر من 700 متطوع. استطعنا خلال السنوات السابقة إنقاذ أكثر من 115,000 شخص. هذه الجائزة سبق وأن استلمها العديد من العظماء الذين قاموا بإحداث تغيير في مجتمعاتهم لما فيه الأفضل للإنسانية، وهذا ما يدفعنا ويشجعنا على الاستمرار في عملنا الإنساني. نشكر متطوعي الخوذ البيضاء على كل ما يقومون به، ونشكر آسيا سوسيتي على هذا التكريم. نشكركم على كل ما فعلتم به لأجلنا ولأجل كل مدني حول العالم. شكرا لكم.
Good evening. I would like to thank Asia Society for this honor. This award and every award we have received is proof of the heroism and courage of the civil defense volunteers in Syria. We work in the most dangerous and life-threatening conditions, in which the blockade of humanitarian relief and rescue is due to heavy shelling, use of all kinds of weapons, and weapons that are internationally prohibited. And the frequent targeting of our members and centers has led to the loss of 252 lives and injured over 700 rescue volunteers. Yet the White Helmets saved the lives of more than 115,000 innocent civilians in Syria, which is now the world's worst humanitarian crisis. Munir did not mention this in his speech, but I learned today that he alone has saved the lives of 15 children. This award is received on behalf of the many great people who have made a difference in their society and for the best of humanity. Their bravery is what motivates and encourages us to continue our humanitarian work. On behalf of the Syria Civil Defense, I thank the White Helmet volunteers for their fearlessness and everything they have done and continue to do to rescue innocent lives. I thank Asia Society for honoring us with the Game Changer Award and for everything they have done to support us and for their positive impact on citizens around the world. Thank you.
There are a couple of us in the room here. I'm one of them. John Banner is another who used to work at ABC News. There may be others. And just a quick word to say that those of us who work there, going on, I guess, 12, 13 years ago now, we'll never forget the day. It was a Sunday when we heard that our colleague Bob Woodruff was fighting for his life after a roadside attack in Iraq. So that's just a little aside by way of introduction here. To present our next award, please welcome our former colleague. He's still at ABC, we're not. ABC News anchor Bob Woodruff, joined tonight by our longtime trustee at the Asia Society, Charles Rockefeller. Thank you, sir.
It's a tradition in my family that a microphone has to be raised upon taking it. Before I make my remarks, I'm just going to note an anecdote that I thought of last year, but now I have the chance to share it this year. This may be the last time I'm invited to speak on this stage, but I'm going to share it anyways, though. I think it's a fun coincidence. So, as most of you know, this event used to be held at the United Nations, and then it sort of got much too popular to fit there. And so it moved here last year for the first time. And so the address, of course, is 25 Broadway. But right across the street, across from the Bowl, is 26 Broadway. And that was the headquarters of Standard Oil. And so I think that there's a chance that, that my grandfather may not have been able to start the Asia Society without the success of Standard Oil. And so I think that somehow that we're across the street from a helper. is a nice sort of full circle kind of thing. So there it is. That wasn't that bad, was it? Okay. Thanks, Tom, for the introduction. And it's very special for me to be here tonight, especially on such a meaningful night. And Bob and I both, well, I'm more honored than he is to present with him. Yeah, that's it. So our next game changer has lived quite a personal odyssey that really should be the subject of a feature film someday. Maybe some people in the room can sort of get that started, but tonight we celebrate what followed that odyssey, what came after, and it's rather remarkable, as you'll see. But speaking of personal odysseys, Bob has had his own rather dramatic odyssey, and he nearly 10 years ago, he was injured by a roadside bomb in Iraq, and miraculously his life was saved, and he's with us tonight. And I think a fair amount of you know that story, but what I was just reading more about it earlier today, and what I had forgotten was that he was actually in a coma for 36 days, which is really remarkable. So it's a pleasure, Bob, to present with you tonight.
Well, I want to thank you, Charles, for that. I want to thank Asia Society for giving us the honor to be here tonight, a group that I love deeply in my heart. I also want to tell you that, yes, that's true that I used to cover wars. I told my wife back then I'm not going to do that anymore. I gave that up. Only conflicts was why I go to Asia all the time, do a lot of reporting around the world. But I also spent a lot of time not just talking about wars and reporting about wars, but the victims of war. And there are so many people out there that have to deal with this. There are so many out there that help to cure those or help those who have been wounded in the wars. And I did say to somebody earlier tonight that one of the most frustrating things for those doctors and the nurses who have helped people to survive or to recover is they never get a chance really to see their patients again. And the patients whose lives were saved or helped, they don't get the chance to see their doctors again. Tonight we're going to see an amazing man, an amazing doctor who has dealt with trauma. I had a kind of trauma with traumatic brain injury. He has now taken down another path and another remarkable kind of wounds, and he has become a leader, a man who has given gifts to those who have suffered so much. So I want to have you, give you the chance to watch this on tape.
He was a young surgeon in Iraq under the regime of Saddam Hussein when a horrifying order came to cut off the ears of soldiers who had escaped from the army. Dr. Munjid Al-Madiris chose to refuse the order and flee his homeland in a long and harrowing journey across Asia. His new home, Australia, held him in a detention center for nearly a year. Ultimately, he was granted asylum and built a reputation as a top orthopedic surgeon. Then he developed a game-changing technology, a new generation of implants for amputees called osseointegration. It uses a skeletal integrated titanium implant, providing more stability and mobility for patients than ordinary prosthetics.
My first pair of shoes in about 15 years, and I'm looking forward to wearing them.
Last year, Al-Madiris' story came full circle when he returned to the country he fled, invited by the Prime Minister of Iraq to bring his landmark treatment home.
Everybody deserves to be treated equally.
There, he would operate on hundreds of soldiers who lost limbs in the battle against the Islamic State.
I'm astonished to the way these people healed.
And his care for British soldiers won him a royal champion, Britain's Prince Harry.
We're going to get him across to the UK if we can for an extended period of time so that we can just put as many guys through as possible because it's life-changing.
So many others have this surgeon and pioneer to thank for a more promising future than they ever thought possible.
شكرا دكتور منجد المدرس. شكرا دكتور منجد.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to now introduce you tonight who's from Australia and from Iraq, Dr. Mujed Al-Mudiris.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for having me here. It's an honor to be presenting in front of you all. I'm an Iraqi-born, proud Australian. I'm an orthopedic surgeon. I'm also a reservist in the Australian Defence Force, and I'm a human rights activist. I represent Australia with the Red Cross, UNHCR, and Amnesty International. I'm also a refugee. I came to Australia by boat. My day-to-day work is orthopedic surgery, doing hips and knees, and believe me, it's boring like bad shit. However, at the age of 12, I watched this movie called The Terminator. And not knowing English very well, I didn't understand the whole philosophy of the Terminator, not to make Terminators. But what did I want to do? A Terminator. So I pursued my dream to do orthopedic surgery. And I ended up being in Australia. And thanks to being in Australia, I managed to pursue that dream. And that dream became true. Initially, when I started, I thought it's a hobby, I'll do one or two, and then now it became a reality. And all of a sudden, we've done the world's largest number of osseointegration surgeries. We're developing new technologies with target muscle reinnervation, implantable electrodes, and we're taking this technology to the rest of the world. And that opened the opportunity for me to endeavor into different frontiers, including humanitarian work. So I'm running pilot studies all around the world, and I would encourage everybody to participate, please, because there are a lot of people that needs it. I have 3 dreams in my life, one of which is to get osseointegration surgery to people who needs it most, people who cannot afford it in areas that war-torn, like Syria. The second dream is about Australia. I would like to have a fast train that runs from Brisbane to Melbourne, But the third dream, which is the most important, and with everybody's help, we can make it happen. I wish that one day I will wake up and we don't spend money on war machines, and we spend all our money on foresting the desert and preparing for our enlarging population on Earth, and we develop tolerance toward each other and acceptance. And thank you very much.
We go next to some trailblazing girls and young women, trailblazing young women. Our final 2 honorees certainly fall in that category of trailblazers, trailblazing women, and actually so do our presenters. To present our next Asia Game Changer Award, please welcome Asia Society Trustee, Ambassador Caroline Kennedy.
So excited to be here for my first Game Changer Award as an Asia Society trustee. This has been an incredibly inspiring evening, and wait till you see who's coming next. Thank you, Tom. As we've read, this has been another very difficult year for Afghanistan. Even by the standards of that country, which has known more than its share of trauma and violence in the last several years. Twice in the short history of the Game Changer Awards, you've honored individuals who have worked hard to change things and succeeded. The pioneer for a free and thriving press, Saad Mohseni, and the remarkable young rap artist fighting against child marriage, Sonita Elizadeh. For a long time, Afghanistan has been a particularly difficult place for young girls, especially for young girls with ambition. All the more reason to celebrate this year a certain group of ambitious young game changers from that country. Please take a look.
They were a small group of Afghan teenagers suddenly thrust into the international spotlight. 6 girls, members of an all-girl robotics team from Herat, Afghanistan, headed to competition in Washington, where they were stopped because of the U.S. travel ban. Ultimately, they were allowed in and greeted like celebrities.
It's Team Afghanistan, and you can hear how electric this atmosphere is for them.
A symbol of the resilience and intelligence of young girls from a country where 2 out of 3 girls receive no education at all.
میخواستم به مکتب بروم و تا اونجا که ممکن است درس بخوانم تا روزی بتوانم ربات‌های خودم را بسازم.
These girls didn't want to be recognized for the political storm they weathered. They wanted to be recognized for their work.
After a long and arduous process, they are a fan-favorite team here, Team Afghanistan.
And last November, they attended the prestigious Robotex Festival in Estonia, winning the Entrepreneur Challenge. They designed a robot that could use solar energy to support small-scale farmers, a robot that could help feed the people of Afghanistan.
با افتخار به کشور خود بازگشتیم و باعث افتخار افغانستان شدیم.
They won the medal and they won praise from the country's president. You have opened the door for others to follow, he said. You have presented a new image of Afghanistan to the world.
Okay, tonight, here from Herat, Afghanistan, Kausar Roshan and Fatma Kadarian. Unfortunately, they didn't bring their robot with them, but here they are, members of the Afghan Girls Robotics team. And now, their champion, founder of the Afghan Citadel software company, Roya Mahbub.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor to be standing here tonight. We are continually amazed that the path that we have taken has brought us to this point. Thank you so much, Asian Foundation, and those who selected us. We are truly humbled and honored to receive this award, and joining to many other awesome recipients. Break to the science and technology and many other industries can start a dream of a child who wants to do something great and make a difference. And we were those childs who wanted to, we have bigger dreams than our families and ourselves. We believe it's possible that everyone, regardless of their background, to realize their dream and goals. And it's only possible if we're giving the same opportunities to access to information, technology, and education to all the boys and girls around the world, that they can grasp the opportunities to invent, design, and create things that they can change their lives and their communities. We are the first generation of the Afghan women to learn technology, and we could travel to be representative of our country everywhere in 21st centuries. Our team were the first step in the journey for equality. Now is the time for our leaders to lay aside the misconception of the past and embrace the potential of the Afghanistan youth's abilities in development technology and the potential of the Afghan women to lead and succeed in education position. Today, we have the commitment we have the support of the Afghan government and Afghan president and communities to building the 5 School of Science, Technology, Engineering, Art, and Maths in Afghanistan. And with 3 years, plan to build in the MIT-style university that focus on high-tech technology. Thank you. Today, half of the people in Afghanistan are teenagers. All we want is to make sure that Afghanistan, in the eyes of the next generation in the next 10 years, be a country, the source of high tech, rather a country of terror and war. And you can say so many other game changers. Thank you again, Asia Foundation, for honoring us.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Asia Society trustee Zhang Xin and the vice chair of the Asia Society Global Board, Betsy Cohen.
In my family, you bring the microphone down. I think we're the last part of a trio which really supports the idiom that in a sound body, a sound mind in a sound body. Thank you, Tom, for allowing us to introduce a very special person. The word odyssey was used earlier today about a doctor from Australia. Well, it's also the right word to describe the path taken by our next honoree, a remarkable young woman who comes tonight having been a child of poverty and, in despair, a child soldier, a world champion athlete, and a champion for young girls across Nepal and other parts of Asia. Trailblazing, absolutely.
Earlier tonight, we met Wang Shi, who has twice climbed Mount Everest. Now you will meet a young woman whose formative years were spent in the foothills of those mountains. And she was not a climber, she's a runner. And if those girls from Afghanistan are giving hope to so many young girls as they pursue their studies, this young woman is inspiring young girls all across Asia in the world of sport. Please take a look at the video.
Meera Rai has always been running. As a child in a poor village in Nepal's Bajpur Mountains, running barefoot to the market to fetch rice for her family, running away at age 14 to become a child soldier for the promise of 2 meals a day, running with the soldiers in the jungle for 2 years, and then returning home with a dream. Nepal has had little success in international sport, men or women, but a chance encounter with 2 trail runners gave Meera the opportunity to enter her first race, the grueling Kathmandu West Valley Rim. 31 miles, the furthest she had ever run. And guess who won? She kept running other so-called sky runner races, mountain running above 6,000 feet. The results? Win after win, beating men and women all over the world. Today, she's a high-elevation trail racing phenomenon. And in Nepal, she's a hero and an inspiration to young girls in a country where half the women are married before they turn 18.
हामी महिलाले पनि आफ्नो पूर्ण क्षमता अनुसार काम गरेको हेर्न चाहन्छु।
Now she's on a mission to groom Nepalese runners for success. There are countless Mirarais in Nepal, she says, women who dream of doing something more with their lives.
Please welcome here tonight from Nepal, Mira Rai.
Hello and good morning, everybody. And this is a great, great honor to receive, represent Nepal and receive this important award. I thank you so much. Thank you so much for everyone for making possible. I had never, I have never amazed to be here today to get receive this award, and thank you. And yeah, I come from very remote area, and it's difficult, but I always try myself doing well. Then thank you for recognize Asia Games Change Award, and I would like to thanks for my mentor, my coach, and overall who are supporting for me to be here, and thank you. And my dream is I'm now here because everybody they support. Then I'm here now. Young generation they want to be, they want to run like me in a trail in a mountain. We have many trail when we grow in mountain, and we do a lot of work. It's very hard, but they are looking forward to do this, and I'm trying to give back opportunity for them too. And this award will motivate me to continue to inspire and mentor on another young generation, brother and sister in Nepal, and And thank you so much for giving opportunity, all team, and I will keep going. I will try my best more to inspire my young generation. And in Nepal, it's very difficult to do sport. We don't have playground to actually do like this. They said family, they are encouraged to do more history, more another kind of thing, but no sport. It's very hard, and I'm very happy to be, their role model for them, and hope in future they are many many strong, but they didn't have opportunity. I have Mirarai Initiative. I'm starting to give opportunity for them through to their dreams successful. And thank you everybody, and very good to see you. Namaste. Yeah, thanks.
So a quick note about an off-script note. Mirarai arrived last week, jogged to our office, She did, like a mere 3 or 4 miles. And we asked her how that was, and she said, in her very winsome, polite way, not really enjoying the concrete. And I think more interesting, it was very flat. That's what she said. She prefers hills. So we come to a couple of final notes. Once again, I said this before, please find, if you don't have it, get somebody from our staff to help you find a copy of the lyrics for the closing act. Otherwise, it will make no sense. But before we do, to raise a glass, a toast to all the Asia Game Changers from tonight, please welcome from Rémy Martin, their Director of Cultural Strategy and Events, Monsieur Thomas Béraud. Bienvenue. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup, Tom. Congratulations to all our Game Changers, and congratulations to Indra Nooyi for Game Changer of the Year award. As a partner brand, I want to tell you how honored and simply humbled we are to have been invited at this table. As an individual, I would like to tell you that I will remember that night forever for all the hope that it's giving. So I would like to raise a toast to that, to Asia Society Game Changers, and whether it's Rémy Martin or not that you have in your glass, please pay tribute to all our Game Changers of the night. Just and please don't go. We have a world premiere tonight. You will hear something that has never been heard. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. The MC can't have cognac, at least not yet. Okay, so it's time for that moment now. As we said, the first honorees in our second act of this event, you'll remember them, the great Game Changers, the founders of Kululam. They have never performed or done one of their gatherings anywhere outside of the Middle East. When we invited them to come for this occasion, they said they would figure out something that would give a little taste, because if you saw those productions in the video, those are really big productions with thousands of people in big, wide open spaces, but they promised they could make something work. They have been hard at it, so please turn your attention to this screen. I'm told actually that this one is the only one that's gonna show what you need to see. Get your lyric sheets out. And with that, I think I'm out of introductions. Please welcome the founders of Kululam.
Good morning, New Yorkers. Looking for another beautiful day here in the city. Clouds starts off.
You know, the other day I was watching that other big show on Channel 9, the Bill Clinton show.
New York City traffic. For many of us here in this room, this might be what the beginning of every day looks like. The pressure to get out of the house, to make it to work on time, the daily struggle of pushing each other on the subway and waiting in line at a bank, shouting and honking in our cars. It's like each of us is in his or her own bubble of frustration, all building into one massive traffic jam in our minds. But what if it didn't have to be that way? What if for just one moment we could burst the bubble and look beyond our own small worlds? What if we were to listen? What if instead of just hearing everything as a noise that goes all around us, we could really focus and maybe listen to, say,
the sound of a car door slamming?
Yeah.
And maybe a seatbelt clicking.
Okay, nice. Hey, let's play it again. All right, all right. Hey, look at the blinkers on that car. Now, let's try lifting the parking brake. All right. Now, let's try putting everything together. Nice. I think this is really turning into something.
Check out the rhythm.
I like it. How about some harmony? Yeah.
Okay, let's see. What else do we have? Let's try a truck.
I like it.
And maybe let's do a motorbike.
I've got an idea. How about us? Everybody, stand up. All right. We're gonna do something together. We're gonna sing together, okay? For that, we're gonna split into two groups. Can I see your hands in the air, please? Yeah. All right. So, we're gonna be group number 1 and group number 2. Group number 1, this is your part. I'm gonna sing it and please join me. Let's do it tonight. Give me everything tonight. Right. Give me everything tonight. For all we know, we might not get tomorrow. Are you? Let's do it tonight. But give me everything tonight. Yeah. Give me. Great. For all we know. Let's loop it again and again. Let's do it tonight. Take a big breath. Tonight. Nice. Group number 2. Group number 1, keep moving. Keep moving, don't stop. Group number 2, this is your part. Tonight, we are young. So let's set the world on fire. We can go brighter than the sun. Whoa. Now your turn. Tonight, we are. So let's set. We can go brighter than the sun. Whoa. One more time. Tonight, we are young. More from group number 2. So We can't control the weather. We can't always control the circumstances in our lives, but we can control the perceptions of reality and what we make of it. And this is what we just did, and this is what Kululam want to inspire. Thank you for singing, and thank you for listening. Na, 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 hey Jude.
First time out of the Middle East, right here. Woo, thank you. So there's dessert and coffee, but let me just say this. As many of you feel tonight, see tonight when you look around your tables, this is a special tribe of people, Asia Society. It's the bridge builders of the world. We love you. Join in what we're doing. And our goal next year is to get this broadcast all over Asia to literally inspire the world. So thank you. Enjoy your coffee. Give your neighbor a hug. Thank you. Hello. And our thanks to Tom Nagorski, our producer for tonight. Thank you, Tom. Woo! And all the team that did it. All the Asia Society team, thank you. Amazing. Mm-hmm.